I know I probably sound like a bunch of crap right now, but I want to quickly make a video because I want to try something with photography, and I'll explain what I'm trying to do. But before I actually explain what I'm trying to do, I think I officially found my style when it comes to photography. And what I mean by that is something that makes my photography stand out, or something that I do consistently with my photos. And although I haven't found it specifically, I've been experimenting a lot with fire. If you guys saw the last two videos that I posted, it had to do with fire. And I don't know why, I just kind of like the concept of it. Maybe not necessarily fire, but something that has a very deep orange. I don't know why orange, it just kind of sticks out to me when it comes to photos. Orange isn't even my favorite color either, but I just like it when it comes to photos. So I want to try something again, and this time it's gonna be with a book. We're gonna light this book on fire. It's funny because I've never actually bought a book before to like read, and the first book I actually buy in my lifetime, it's to set on fire. I'm gonna try and make it look very crappy and rusty first, so we'll see. I paid like 25 bucks for this book. I probably could have found a cheaper one, but I kind of like the fact that it was hardcover. I guess it's Stephen King, If It Bleeds. I don't know if you guys are into books, but I know Stephen King is the guy that made It. He made Into the Tall Grass on Netflix too, right? He made a lot of movies. Anyway, we're gonna do that. But also, I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but I've seen pictures of like people like throw something, or like coins or bouncy balls or something, they take pictures of it. I want to try and do that. And since this is gonna be letters, I bought a bunch of letters to see. I think I bought them too big because they're huge. But we're gonna give it a shot anyway, so yeah, let's do this. Okay, so I don't have the book. Got it. I guess what I'm gonna do, I don't know why I have this. I'm hoping this, I can like break it. I ripped it. Alright, now I gotta try and do like the middle of the page. This actually took a lot longer. I thought it would just kind of burn. Maybe it's because I gotta like make it its own sheet. Yeah, that's exactly why. Look at that. Look at that. Hell yeah, that's what I want. I want to tear this page up. Yeah. I think it's looking pretty decent right now. I just gotta try and get like this center page a little. I try and get the center page a little on fire right now, because I want to try and get that when I take the picture. But I think it's looking pretty decent right now. I just got to try and get like this center page a little. I try and get the center page a little on fire. Yeah. This is what I got so far. So I mainly just got this. So my plan is to take just like an above picture, and maybe I want to try and get like a side angle here with the letters bouncing. It's just for fun, so I want to see how that works out. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to actually get these though, because I tried burning one. I want them to be burnt to kind of go with the theme. I tried burning one and it didn't burn it. It kind of just melted. I'm thinking about possibly getting some fuel, putting a little bit on it, and see how that works. The plan is now to try and set up the tripod, see if I could get a good angle, and then yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be the plan. All right, so I got the angles. I got this at least this angle, so my plan is now to try it and see if it works. So I already took a couple pictures. I'm gonna try and light it on fire and try and take a picture as fast as I can. No! Ah, ow, ah. I feel like a lot of people can make a lot of good assumptions or meanings with a book on fire that's filled with words, and then the word love being caught on fire. So I feel like it'll be pretty cool. I feel like it'll be a cool thing. Just a tiny bit, not a lot. Just a little bit, just like that. really gonna have to get ready to take this picture. All right, 3, 2, 1. Okay, got him. Wow, look at the book. It is destroyed. Oh, look, the letters actually got pretty much. Oh, maybe I should just do that. Maybe I should just drench all these letters in some fuel. Oh, they're stuck together. Oh, ooh. Nope, I shouldn't do that. So I got the last angle. It's kind of far because I'm using an 85 mil, so I'm back here. So what I'm gonna have to do, and I think I kind of want to turn it on fire again. I think what I want to do is turn it on fire, and then from over here, just launch the letters over there and just spam. So I'm gonna try and put you guys in a far distance so you guys can actually see what I mean. Oh, whoops. I put a little too much, whatever. All right, 3, 2, 1. One more time. Okay. I gotta clean all this up. All right, cool. I think that was good. I think that was a success. Okay. I'll meet you guys in Lightroom. Welcome back to Lightroom. This is again like a couple days after what you guys just previously saw. It's been a little bit of a weird ride recently with trying to find the time to actually record. I kind of do like little bits at a time and then stitch them all together. Doing the best I can right now with the time I have. But here we are in Lightroom with the pictures that I took. Let me actually go straight off to the beginning. If you guys didn't see, a little bit of a change in the setup. Not really, just a lighting change. I'm trying to make my setup look a little more professional with what I can right now. So I actually have my light off and I have an aperture. I have a small like aperture light and I have a orange like warm filter over it to give me this look compared to the last video. So we're getting there, we're getting to that state little by little. It's a work in progress, but here we are with the Lightroom. So these are all unedited. I'll be honest, one of them I did put my preset on them just because I really like the way that the preset looked on this picture, but that is not the focus of today. The focus of today is me actually going and editing 1 or 2 of the pictures, editing at least 2 of the pictures. That's my plan. I'm definitely not gonna go through all of them because once I get one, I'm probably gonna paste it to all the other pictures. But the whole purpose is so you guys can, I'm hiccuping. Whole purpose is so you guys can see my editing process and basically the way my mind works as a beginner photographer. You guys are gonna see me go through these knobs and be like, I think that looks cool, even though I kind of don't know the details as to what it does. I just feel like it looks good. Still getting to the point of trying to actually understand all these knobs here. I was not capturing my cursor. So, okay. Now you guys can actually see where my mouse is. When I go through all these knobs, just so you guys can see how my editing process is, again, as a beginner photographer. So in case you're a beginner, you can kind of see how I use it, or maybe you can learn something also being a beginner. I know you can definitely go and just watch a professional, but I feel like it's cool with beginner learning because we're actually growing together. So I really like this one only because I like the way the fire is like kind of swirling around. I really wish I was at least good at Photoshop so I can make that swirl around the entire word love, which I think is the reason why I really like this one, is because it was kind of going around the word love. I do like this one though. I think I'm gonna go ahead and edit this one and then we'll go to one of the other pictures. So, but yeah, so when it comes to my editing process, I personally like to start with the curves.
I've seen videos where a lot of people recommend starting with the curves. I just kind of like starting with the curves. I feel like I can make the picture look really good just off the curves itself. And they actually did a recent update to the curves. So if you guys are beginner or don't know, there's this thing called an S curve, which basically I'm not even gonna try and be scientific about this. I guess it just balances out everything better. That's just the way I see it, I guess. But this is just like your darks and lights or highlights and shadows, blacks, whites. This is what this does. Then you have your red tones, curves, your greens, and then your blues. What they did different is that now, if you were to go ahead and go to this graph, usually the S curve, you do the 3 curves because you usually go down and then up. And it definitely doesn't look like an S, but it has that motion. But with the S curves, that's usually what you do. Now with the colors, it actually tells you where or what colors you're actually going towards now. So what I mean by that is, if I were to go to the shadows, and you guys see how this side's red, if I start pulling it up, those are gonna go red. And then if I start going down, it's gonna go more to like a cyan kind of color. Now, as you can see, it does a lot. So usually with tone curves, you don't want to do too much, because if you want to go like that, that's going to be kind of but that's usually what it goes. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the blacks. Usually with a lot of my pictures, I always kind of wash it out to give it a fade look with the darks. I should probably search up where, because I'm not sure if it goes, because down here is your darks and up here is more of your highlights. I know there's like your darks, your whites, your shadows, your highlights and stuff, and then like your mid-tones and stuff like that. Again, I'm new to the science of it, at least. And I'm not sure if it goes like darks, shadows, mids, or like highlights, whites. But I use it. I think it makes it look good. So I usually wash out the blacks just like that. You guys can see the difference that it actually makes. I can exaggerate it so you guys can see what I'm actually talking about. So I usually like to go just a little bit, just to give it more of a faded feel. Not have like such darks, more of kind of like a grayish dark, I guess. But yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and kind of mess with these knobs just a little bit. Sometimes I'll actually even, just to see what it does. So like if from here to here are more of like the highlights and whites, I'll go from here to this point, and then I'll go straight to the middle of that and kind of see the difference that it actually makes, just to see, like, I usually exaggerate everything just to see how much it actually affects the picture. And then I'll go back and kind of go towards the one that I like the most. So I'm actually gonna go a little more towards up. And then usually I try and focus my point on what I'm trying to focus on. So in this case is the fire. So I'll see how it actually affects the fire as well. So like right here, I can see that this is mostly affecting the flames. So I want to say that this right here is probably the highlights. Again, while I'm editing, I'm also teaching myself at it. I know I've edited a lot of photos, but I still kind of ask myself the same thing over and over. So I don't want it to be too bright. So I'm actually just gonna bring it down just a little bit. And then I'll also do the same thing with the, yeah, see, I don't like that. I like more of like a, no, I'm actually not gonna mess with that. Usually if you double click, it'll just go away. I'll just leave it like that. So I kind of like the way that looks. Now going to the rest, I usually don't mess with this a lot. I usually just do just the S curves because it kind of just balances out all the colors. I know it looks super weird right now, but once you go through all the other colors, it'll kind of put everything together in a way. It's a little weird. It's a little weird. I still don't really understand how just doing the same thing makes it look way better. But when I look at this, I see blues and greens, at least in like the shadows. I don't want that. I kind of want the whole thing to look like a old. I want it to look old. I want the whole thing to look rusty. So I kind of want everything to kind of go more towards like a brownish orange kind of feel. So I'm gonna go to the blues, and then I'm actually gonna bring down the blues just a little bit. And I can see that it's starting to pull towards more the green because I'm going towards the green area. And then I'll just bring this down just a little bit. And I can see that it's starting to get like purple. So I'll just start bringing it up a little bit to see I feel like somewhere in between is like where I'm getting that like vintage, I guess, feel, or like sepia. Is that what it is? Sepia? And then I'll start messing with this to see if it like affects it anymore. Alright, so I feel like that's... No. I feel like that's good. I like where that's at. So then after I'm done with like the tone curves and stuff like that, this is where I kind of just start messing around with everything and just kind of going for it. So I know that I'm trying to go for more like that orange style, so I'm actually going to go to my temp. I'm just going to bring it up just a little bit to get more, because if I bring it all the way, you guys can see that it's giving me more of that orange feel. If I go all the way to the left, it's giving me a very cold look. So I'm actually just going to go up just a little bit and then just kind of get more of like a warm feeling with it. I usually never touch tint. I never ever touch this. I just don't. Whenever I use it, I just don't like the way it looks, so I don't touch it. Something that I actually do want to do real quick is actually possibly crop it a little bit. I'm actually thinking of possibly doing, what I'm feeling is cropping it and maybe just getting like this side of the page. I don't know if that'll look good or not, but I feel like that'd be a cool thing to do. Nope, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So now I'm gonna go ahead and actually mess with the stuff. I usually mess with exposure just a little bit, just to bring, oh my god, my throat is like so dry. Alright, so that didn't work out, but we're just gonna go ahead and start messing with stuff. So this is where I literally just kind of go and just start messing with stuff. It's a little dark for me, so I'm actually gonna see if I can bring anything out a little bit. I kind of want to bring the shadows out a little bit because I want the outer edge not to be completely dark. I kind of want it to show a little bit of the road. You can kind of tell it's a road, but you can kind of tell that it's just, it kind of just brings out the texture a little more. I don't like that this right here, I don't even know what that is, so I am going to crop that out just a little bit. I actually might see if I could straighten out the book, even though the book's not necessarily like crooked, but now I'm messing with the highlights. So this is where I like to see how it's messing with the fire. Usually in my pictures, a lot of them, I'll bring the highlights all the way down. That's something I usually do, only because I like how it captures everything. So like here, you can see it's very bright in the flames, but if you bring it all the way down, you literally see like the flame. So I usually like doing stuff like that, and then maybe I'll mess with the whites a little bit and make it a little brighter. Oh, that was too much. Make it just a little bit brighter, just to be like that. But I think I am gonna bring the highlights up just a little bit. I feel like the word love is starting to like disappear on me, which I'm gonna put a radio mask on that in a little bit, but I feel like that's looking okay. If you guys want to see a quick before and after, this is what it was before, this is where we're at a little after. So looking at it, you guys can definitely see how I'm going from that like cold blue kind of into more of like that warm rusty feeling. That's kind of what I'm trying to go for right now. So there's definitely a huge difference right now that I can tell. I actually really liking the way this is looking. Textures, I usually don't mess with texture, clarity, dehaze unless I'm trying to go for more of a feeling. So the way I try and go for it is, since this is fire, I'm gonna give it more of like a, I guess like an angry, more of like an angry texture more than a thing. Because let's say if I go to clarity and I go all the way down, if you see the fire, it looks more soft, and if I go up, it's gonna make it a little more harsh. So this is where like things can get a little weird. So I usually, like I said, I usually go all the way to the right and all the way to the left just to see what I'm really trying to go towards. So I actually think I'm gonna go a little down with the texture just because I feel like it's giving it like a blur in the letters, and I kind of like that. So there. And then with the clarity, I'm actually gonna go reverse with the clarity to bring out the flames a little more. Just like that. Dehaze, I never touch. I usually only use dehaze if I'm like shooting foggy, because I feel like it just takes out the fire. Maybe that's what it's for, but there you go. I usually don't mess with the brightness or the vibrance and saturation. If I do, I bring the saturation a little down, and I actually bring the vibrance a little up. I don't know why, I just do it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. A little does a big difference though. As you guys can see, we did a lot of a little bit, but it changed it from this to this. So it definitely does do its job. So with that scrolling down, now I'm gonna go ahead and go with the HSL, hue, saturation, luminance. Usually you can go ahead and like have all the colors just like this and then go hue, saturation, luminance. I like to go to color and do it individually, just so I can specifically work on that color I'm trying to work on. So looking at the picture, especially looking at the original, there's not really a lot of colors to work with. So for example, we're probably not gonna need to go for magenta or purple. We're really gonna work with yellow, orange, red, because that's like the main colors. I don't know if since this is blue, if blue will actually affect anything. Yeah, it will. See, so that'll actually affect stuff. So with that blue, actually, since that blue is kind of affecting all this, I'm actually gonna desaturate a little bit. And I'm actually gonna put the luminance up just because I feel like it's bringing out the page a little bit more, the pages. So I kind of like the way that looks. I just went full on 100. But now we're actually gonna work on the red, oranges, and yellows, which I don't want to make it red flames. So I'm actually gonna turn the hue for red more towards like an orange side, because you guys can see if I go red, well, actually I kind of like it going a little more to the red. Kind of makes it look a little more like a hot red orange. I'm actually gonna go more towards that way, and then maybe with the orange I'll actually pull more towards red. I actually kind of like the way that looks a little better. Not too much though. I don't want it to look like I literally still want to kind of make it look a little natural. You don't want to make it look like, yeah, he definitely made that look red. And then maybe with the yellows. I think the yellows are okay. I'm actually gonna desaturate the yellows just because I don't like the way the yellow looks if I were to go all the way. So I'm gonna go a little bit this way. Ooh. I kind of like that. I like bringing it all the way to the right. That looks pretty good. Saturate that a little bit. And a little more luminance. And down a little bit more luminance. Okay, I'm liking the way that looks. I don't think green is in here at all. Nope. Mess with that a little bit. I don't think this is done. This actually is. Okay, I'm gonna bring that down a little bit more. Okay. I'm really liking the way this is looking. And last thing that I usually work with is split toning. I usually use this very, very lightly just because it can really change the photo like a lot. So with this, I kind of see as to what colors I want in the highlights and shadow. So in the highlights, obviously we're doing flame, so I'm gonna kind of go towards more like that orange red. And then for the shadows, I'm gonna try and go more towards like a brownish. You can actually click this and then actually see what you're trying to go for. And you can see how much is actually affecting the picture. So I'm actually gonna go more towards like a brownish color. And here we can go more towards like a reddish orange color. Now it's bringing the saturation up a lot, so I'm actually gonna bring the saturation down like heavy, because we don't need that much at all. So I'm gonna bring this down a little bit, and then you can actually balance it. So balancing, basically, if you want more of like the highlights or more of the shadows to show, I don't really know which way goes where, but it seems like left goes more towards shadows and right goes more towards highlights. So I really kind of want it to affect the book, so I'm gonna go left more for the shadows. I feel like that's kind of looking a little good. It's giving me more of that brown feel. That's definitely there. And then last but not least, with all this, I'm gonna put a radio mask on the word love, which radio mask is basically masking a certain area to do that. It usually starts inverted, or not inverted, but we're gonna invert it, but it usually starts around this, so it's gonna look weird because it usually does around the circle instead of inside the circle. So I gotta invert it real quick. It's gonna look super bright already because it automatically just brings the exposure up. But that's exactly what I want to do. I just don't want to do it that much. So I'm just gonna bring it up just a little bit. Maybe mess with the highlights. Maybe I'll actually make it a little bigger. I don't want to make it too noticeable that I use the radial mask, so I feel that's looking pretty good. And something I do want to do is actually add a gradient or graduated filter. And I'm gonna go from left to right like that, because since the flames are coming from this way, I kind of want the left side to be a little more bright than the right. Now, not this much, okay, it's a little, just a little change. Yeah, I kind of like the way that looks. Now this calibration right here, I know this can do a lot. I have not experimented with this yet, so I'm not even gonna touch it. But I kind of like the way this looks right now. It looks really good. I think I'm gonna leave it just like this. Now, usually in this case, this is the before and after, just in case you didn't see. You can actually see side by side how it looks before and after, which is kind of wild. So if you guys actually kind of want to compare with this edit compared to how my preset pack would look on something like this, so this is usually the preset pack that I would use, and I can already tell that in this preset pack it has a little more of that blue in the shadow. So what I'd usually do here is I just bring this down, and then I also go to the oranges, and then I bring this down a little bit too. Just like that. But so this is the comparison. So this is usually the preset I use when it comes to the fire, and this is the second one that I just made. So take it how you like it. I don't even know how I made this preset, but this preset just looks so good. I just really like the way this preset looks. But this is the editing that we did this time, if you guys wanted to see how I would edit something. But yeah, this is my normal preset. I'm gonna make this into a new preset because I kind of like the way that looks though. So we're actually gonna go into develop new preset. We're gonna call it Rust. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do that. So usually what I would do here is I go to like this one, for example, and then I would basically go to settings, copy, paste it. I'd go through all the ones that I wanted to put it on, and then I would go to develop settings and then paste it. Bam. So now all these pictures should have all the presets on it. So going through, this is how it looks. These are all the pictures that I took. There's one we edited. There's this one, that one, that one. At this point, the camera was recording for 30 minutes, and I guess after 30 minutes, it automatically just stops recording. That is something I did not know, because this is the first time that I actually recorded for 30 minutes straight on the camera. So you guys didn't miss much. You guys just missed this photo right here when it came to when I threw the letters on top of the book. That's basically all. I didn't edit this. I basically just put the same preset pack. But yeah, I didn't realize, so that was kind of a little bit of a fail on my part. But hopefully you guys did enjoy what you guys just saw. I know it was a little bit of a long one, but it was just a quick editing process. So I'm sure you guys probably didn't watch the whole thing, but if you guys watched the whole thing, I'm extremely impressed. I'm hoping to do a lot more of these, so this will be a lot of fun. But yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, like the video, comment, give me some tips and tricks if you guys are photographers yourself. Let me know how I did, and yeah, stay tuned. Get ready for the next video. Yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye.